Hello, YouTube family. Welcome to another episode of Ask a Therapist. My name is Amanda Edwards. I'm a child, family, and women's therapist in Parker, Colorado, and I'm here to answer your questions that you are dying to know from a therapist. So today's question comes through my YouTube channel, actually a direct message here. And this viewer wants to know, they're a parent, and wanting to know about working on their own trauma. They feel like their own trauma from their childhood is affecting how they are as a parent, and so they're wondering how that works. So today in this episode, we're just going over some logistics about how to find a trauma therapist, what trauma therapy usually looks like, and how it might impact your parenting. So why don't we start with that, actually. Trauma can impact our parenting in a myriad of ways, but typically what happens is either our kid is experiencing something similar to what we went through as a child, like maybe your child experiences something traumatic and it brings up that old trauma in your mind, or sometimes our kid is triggering us. So our child is almost like re-traumatizing us as parents. And it might not necessarily be anything that is negative that your kid is doing, but something that your child is doing is causing those old feelings of trauma to sort of well up inside of you, and it's affecting your parenting. So how does it affect your parenting? Well, when we have unresolved trauma, we are often, experience symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. And that could be similar to symptoms of depression or anxiety. It could be social withdrawal. It could be isolation. It could be irritability. It could be some hypervigilance, like needing everything in its place just so, kind of like being a little rigid in there, rigid in routine or in structure, or in how the household is managed. There could be sleep disturbance, maybe nightmares, flashback type things. So those symptoms impact our parenting by obviously making our mental health not quite smooth for us. And then we find ourselves to be maybe withdrawn from our children. Maybe we're not enjoying our kids as much as we would like to, or not enjoying parenting itself as much as we'd like. Sometimes we get moody or irritable toward our children, and then we feel really guilty about it. So there are lots of ways that a childhood trauma impacts us as parents. So how do we go resolving this? Well, you know what I'm going to say, find a therapist. So if you have your own therapist to help you work through your own trauma, and offer a complementary focus on how to be a better parent at the same time, you're going to feel healthier and happier and more whole and more fulfilled and like you are a better parent. There are lots of different kinds of trauma therapies. I happen to specialize in EMDR, which is the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy. And I use a somatic and attachment approach to that, which means that I use my yoga background and my background in childhood development and attachment theory to really dive into the body and the brain and our relationships and how those are impacted by trauma. Now, of course, my modality is the best fit for me, but there are other trauma therapists out there doing lots of great work as well. So the internet is your friend when it comes to finding your own trauma therapist. Also, relying on other parents who you trust, who maybe have been through some therapy, asking them who they would recommend can also be a great avenue to find someone to really support you through this journey. So I could keep talking about this for forever, but we got to cut it off somewhere because y'all are getting tired of watching me here. If you have a question yourself for a future episode of Ask a Therapist, feel free to comment below, remembering that those are not private. Anyone can see those. If you would like to private message me, you can do so through YouTube or through my Facebook page or my website. But feel free to ask away for future episodes of Ask a Therapist. Thank you so much for watching. Be well. Until next time. Mwah!